So hello everyone, welcome to this another video of this channel. I'm Abhishek Verma and today you are watching a special video in which I will be sharing about my IT journey. Also I will be sharing that how I switched from a service based company to a product based company, and that too without DSA. And believe me guys, that's the only reason that this video is going to be different from the others which you watch on the YouTube. Because most of the time, the YouTubers or influencers will tell you that how aggressively they made usage of DSA, how many lead code questions they solved, how many DSA sheets they crammed. But in my case, it's going to be different. I neither made that particular big lead code streak, nor I was cramming those many lead code sheets. But still, I was able to make this kind of a change. I made a similar video few months ago also, but that was in Hindi. And so most of you ask me that okay, I should be creating the same in English also, and that's the reason we are creating this. Now, in order to start this journey, we need to do a bit of time travel to 2017 because that was the year when I graduated from the BTech in electronics and communication background from UIT Chandigarh, which is a part of Punjab University. Now, why the branch is important here is because most of the time, the most of the graduates are from the non-CS background, and hence they feel that okay, it is going to be almost impossible or it is going to be very, very difficult for them in order to make a career in the IT field. Now, in the college, we were taught about C and C++. And believe me, when I learned my very first Hello World code, the first thing which came in my mind was that okay, the same Hello World I can write very easily with the help of a notepad or a Word file. So why do we need to follow these many steps? I mean, I'm not sure if there is any other person who is going to think like me or not in this particular room, or we can say in this particular audience. So do let me know if there is same kind of thought in your mind also when you wrote your very first Hello World code. So when I started, it was like C and C++ as I mentioned. And at that point of time, the main goal was only to clear the semester exam. And that's it. Besides this, I was not at all interested in the coding as such. Okay. I mean, that was not my goal to become an IT engineer, something like this. But then when we were in the seventh semester, the campus placement started. And at that point of time, I realized that most of the companies which were coming for the campus placement are only going to recruit the coders. So, I mean, even although I was from electronics and communication background, but there was no special company for our branch. All the companies were looking for the developers, everyone was looking for the programmers, and even there also, they were looking for the people who are very good in coding. I mean, they should be knowing DSA, they should be knowing almost all the concepts of it. And as I told you, that I wasn't that much interested. But still, we still need to get a job. So what I did was I started sitting in those particular campus placements. I started giving those interviews, and trust me, I almost failed in 20 plus interviews. Nowadays, I don't even feel that those many companies are coming for the campus placement. Do let me know in the comments that till now how many companies have came in your campus. So this was the journey, and then the last hope was with the Infosys. I mean, generally that is the last hope in most of the campuses, either Infosys or TCS. So for me, it was the Infosys. So then I thought that okay, for Infosys, I need to give my best. So for Infosys, the first round was the aptitude test. So what I did is I went to Google, and from there I downloaded the free aptitude book by R.S. Agrawal for going through all those aptitude questions. And then I was able to clear that particular round also. Then the next round was the interview round. And again, as you know, that is going to be the toughest round because obviously they are going to ask me those programming questions and other things. So this time I went to library, and from there I got the book of Let Us See by Yashwant Kanetkar. I was going through that particular book. I learned various C concepts as much as I can learn. Okay. I mean, I was not doing that amount of coding or all those things. I was only going through the theoretical concepts and everything. Then during the interviewer first of all asked me about the inheritance and only theoretically. So I explained it very well. Then the another question was from the projects which I mentioned in my resume. Now you will say that, okay, Abhishek, you just now said that you were not interested in coding. So what were the projects in your resume? It was just a simple door lock project which I made with the help of embedded C during my 1 month training in the second year. And that was only I was having in my resume at that point of time. So even interviewer was happy with that particular part, and somehow they hired me. And that's how my IT journey started. But all this happened in the seventh semester, and the joining was after completing the graduation. So for the eighth semester, I don't want to spend it in my college. So there was another option that we can do some kind of internship to other companies or maybe any other organization also. So if you know, there is an organization by the name of TBRL, which is a part of DRDO. So I went there, I gave the interview. Believe me, there was no reference for that particular part. I again got selected in that particular thing. And there I was asked to make some code or some kind of project related to MATLAB. So in May 2017, I completed my graduation. And then in June 2017, I started my actual IT journey from the Mysore campus of the Infosys. There, we were taught about Java, we were taught about Python, about the Hibernate, HTML, CSS, JS, as well as the soft skills. During the daytime, we used to think that, okay, when this trainer is going to leave, because the training was very intensive and it was like complete 8 hours of training, including the lunch break. But the same trainees used to learn the same concepts on their own during the late night hours in those same rooms itself, because we were not having any other options to learn from the mobile phone or any other things, because the material was available on those particular machines only. That was the only reason there. Yeah. And also there were exams almost every fortnightly. So during those exams, they used to ask us some MCQ questions. There was some hands-on problem also, depending on the topics which they have taught us in past 2 weeks. Now I knew that, okay, I was completely zero in the coding. So obviously I need to do a bit more hard in order to clear these exams. So what I used to do was that I used to clear all the quizzes. I used to clear all the exercises also. I used to complete all the assignments also, which were available in my training material. Besides this, I used to go to the desks of the fellow learners. I used to see that, okay, what they are coding. Many times it happens that I'm stuck in a particular problem. So I just used to copy whatever they have done. Or many times it happens that they are stuck in a particular problem. So I used to tell them the solutions. And this way also, I learned more things related to the coding. Now, when this training was about to over, we got an offer that there is a unit known as ET, which is Education, Training and Assessment. Now, the job of this particular department is that they need to teach the concepts to the freshers, to the interns, as well as the other employees of the Infosys. So we got this offer that, if okay, do you want to join this particular department? I said, okay, I want to join it, and I got selected also, and I got my base location as Chandigarh. Now, besides getting the base location as Chandigarh, you see a more important thing here. I mean, there is going to be some irony at this point of time. Few months ago, I was a person who was completely zero in coding, who was having almost no interest in coding. I was from a non CS background, and now I'm going to be the person who is going to teach code to others. And basically, I will be teaching Java to others. Another thing to add here is that I was the person whose legs used to shake when I used to give some kind of presentation in the class where my friends used to sit. But now I will be the person who is going to own the stage. I will be teaching multiple students. And believe me, they are not even going to be the students. They are just going to be my juniors, maybe from my college or maybe from some another college. Isn't it interesting? So now this journey got continued till 2022. And then I thought that, okay, now I should be switching the company. So what I did was I directly gave the resignation. And trust me, I directly did the same. I simply gave the resignation. Now, generally, that's not the first step which you do when you want to make a switch. Generally, first of all, you give the interviews. And before that, you even start looking for the companies. Then you give the interviews, you get selected. then you give the resignation. But I did the reverse. I simply gave the resignation because in my case, the notice period was of 3 months. So I was sure that my managers are very good. In my case, the only reason to resign or to switch was that first of all, I was becoming very much comfortable in my existing job. And the second thing was obviously that's the salary. Because in Infosys, you know that if you are still in the same companies for that much amount of long time, which was almost coming to be as 5 years, then also the salaries are not going to increase that much. So that was the reason why I did so. But then I got a shock. And the shock was that, okay, the market demanded the DSA experts. Now, till now, as a trainer, my main focus was always on the Java, Hibernate, and the concepts of Spring Boot, including Spring microservices also. I did cloud deployment also, and all these things. But in the market, everyone said that, okay, we need DSA experts. I said, okay, it may be a possibility that in the production, every day you need to solve the DSA issues, and that's the only way that you can resolve the bugs. So that's why I also started learning DSA. But as you know, DSA is like a vast ocean. It's not possible that today you think that, okay, I want to learn DSA, and tomorrow you start learning, and day after that you become an expert in DSA. It's not possible. So what I did was that I started learning easy and medium level of questions. And beside this, I also kept on applying to all the companies wherever it was possible. So almost after 15 plus rejections, I got chance from Nagaro. Now in Nagaro, the first round was the aptitude test. So that was again was having some kind of questions. And beside this, there were three DSA questions. So I was able to solve almost 2.5 questions from them. Those questions were like simple and medium level of questions, not the tough one or the most difficult one, which you generally see on the lead code. It was not like that. Then the another round was the interview round. So there I was bit more confident because they were asking me the questions related to Java, Spring Boot, microservices, and all this. And believe me, being a trainer, going through all these concepts again and again was part of my job. So for me, this particular part was much more easier than the DSC questions. So I got selected. Then in May 2022, I joined Nagaro. Now, the thing is that in service based companies, just joining the company is not enough. Again, that's another shock. Okay. Because till now in Infosys, although Infosys is also a service based company, but there my department was ETA. So there was no concept of bench because we just used to learn the concept, we used to teach to others and something like this. Okay. So there was nothing bench. But here the point is something different. Here, I directly came on the bench. Then again, I need to clear the interviews for the clients. So again, the same cycle started. So I failed almost three different clients. And then somehow I cleared the fourth client. And then I got my very first real world project. Almost after 5 years in spending the IT, I was getting my first project. Because till now, as you see, my career was like an educator. So, this first application which I got was a loan lending based application. Okay. And there I learned many more things that how what are the various kind of meetings, how the agile framework basically works, how do we solve the production related bugs and all other things I saw. But something which I didn't saw and which I always kept on wondering is where is DSA? I mean, it didn't happen that okay, me and my colleagues are sitting together and then we are thinking that okay, we should be solving or we should be resolving this ticket using this kind of approach or that kind of approach. It never happened with me. Or nor it happened that okay, there is any kind of production bug, and then I'm telling to my client that okay, we should be solving it using this kind of approach. I mean, trust me, I don't even remember those names because that is something which I don't do daily. Instead, I'm more towards the Java part. Okay. So, in short, I can say that DSA is something which I never used during my actual production time period also. Yeah. So then again in 2024, I decided to make a switch. But till now, the things were even much more different. Now I was having almost 7 years of experience. Now my experience also includes the time period of the production projects where I was having more hands-on experience also there. Beside this, I also started making the YouTube videos also. Yeah. So I felt that okay, now it is going to be a bit more easier for me in order to get a new job. But the point is, now you know that in 2024 it was something like a kind of a recession. Okay, I mean there were less number of jobs. Earlier the problem was that I was not able to clear the interviews. Now the problem is that my resume was also not even getting selected. Getting selected your resume, getting the first call of interviewer was also a very big problem. Seeing all these things, what I did was that this time I went in a sequential manner. First of all, I started looking for the companies. I started applying in almost all the websites whichever is available, be it naukri.com, be it founded, be it LinkedIn, wherever possible. I just started applying the things. But this time, what I did was that first of all, I need to search what kind of companies I want to apply. Again, as you know, market always needs DSA experts. But this time I know that okay, I mean, just think of on your own. Is it possible or is it good to judge a person with 7 years of experience on the basis of a lead code question? If I'm not able to solve a particular lead code question, can you say that I haven't done anything in my past 7 years of career? So I was very clear that okay, I'm not going to apply to Google or Farm because obviously they are going to ask me DSC questions. So I will be applying to those companies which do not keep DSA as a particular round. And believe me, there are very less companies which don't keep DSA as a round. Another filter was that okay, I'm not going to apply to the companies which want full stack developers because during all my almost 7 years of career, I was completely into Java. Be it the time period of the educator or be it the time period when I was in the production, I was completely into Java. So I was looking for the Java backend developer roles. That's it. Now, this means that the number of companies which were available to me were very, very less as compared which already exist. Okay. So now I was going through the websites, I was applying to the jobs, I was getting some kind of rejections. Sometimes I used to clear some round, but in some other round I used to get stuck. And this kept on going on. Then I got an opportunity from the Exup, which is my current company, and that's a European based product based company. Now, this was the exact company which I was looking for. Let me tell you why so. Because they were not looking for a candidate. Instead, they were looking for a potential colleague who is going to ping them daily with their different problems and whom they can ping if they are stuck in a particular issue. So this was the perfect thing which I was looking for. Okay. And their hiring process was also very, very interesting. So what they did was they just gave me one simple question. And in order to solve that particular question, they gave me 1 week's time. And that question was something like that there is a particular file, and in that particular file there are multiple words. Okay, so there are multiple words in a single line, there are multiple words in different lines also, and something like this. And from that particular file I just need to find top 5 words which are repeating again and again. Now you will say that okay, Abhishek, just now you said that okay, it was not a DSA or something like this, but again this sounds to be like a DSA. But trust me, this sounds like a DSA, but it was not DSA. Let me explain you why so. Because generally, what happens is that on multiple companies, when you do some kind of questions like this, what they do is they take a particular platform, then you need to go on that particular platform. They say that okay, once you will click on this particular platform, the timer is going to start, it is going to be of 1 hour or something like this, and you need to provide your solution there only. There will be some visible test cases, there are some hidden test cases and something like this. But here it was completely different. They just said me that okay, you just need to provide us a solution. It's your wish wherever you wish to code. Okay, and you have complete 1 weeks of time. So I was just simply coding in my Eclipse IDE in my local machine, and that's it. I was also allowed to make usage of Google. I was also allowed to make usage of ChatGPT or whatever it is. Because in the general real-time production application also, we take help of Google. We take help of ChatGPT and other things nowadays. So I was allowed to do so. So then I completed the coding and everything, and then I provided them the solution. And believe me, this kind of application, if someone will give to you, what will you do? You will just make one simple method. What I did was I made multiple classes. I applied solid principles here. I wrote the test cases also with the help of JUnit. I made it as a Maven based project. If I wish, I could have made it as a Spring Boot project also, but I just made it as a Maven project just for this kind of simple application. Okay, so this is something which I did here. Then I provided them the solution. Then a discussion happened that okay, why I came to this kind of solution, why I made it something like this. So we discussed multiple things on it. They also gave me some kind of suggestion, and they also told me that okay, this is something which you have done very well, and trust me, I got selected for this, and that's it. So this was the thing. There was no other DSA or anything like this. I was allowed to search Google. I was take help. I was allowed to take help of anything, whatever it comes to me. It was not something that okay, I need to solve a particular problem in a particular time frame. So this was the complete process, and hence I said that it is going to be a different journey here. And then after this, I was invited to Denmark for my 10 days onboarding. So this particular job is completely remote. So I'm not working from the Europe full time. Instead, it's a remote job. Earlier, I went for the 10 days for onboarding. In future also, I may need to again travel in between, but that was the scenario. Now, when I tell this kind of thing to someone, generally people say that, okay, please tell us what were the websites, what were the steps which you searched, which you used in order to get a product based company, in order to get a European based company. But the thing which we need to understand here, that it was not my goal in order to get a product based company or in order to get a European based company. It just happened. That's it. What I was very clear is that in which all companies I don't want to apply. What I was clear is that in which all companies I want to apply, and that's it. So, most of the time, when you are also looking for a job, you just need to be clear that what are the skills you know. Like in my case, I was very clear that I'm confident in Java. So, whatever the role I will be looking for is going to be Java developer only. It cannot be a full stack developer, it cannot be a DSA expert. Second thing which I was clear was that my 7 years of experience. So, I was looking for a company which was hiring for this particular range only. So I was applying for there only. And the third thing was that it didn't happen that okay, I just applied to one company, they selected me, and everything went smooth. Instead, I was applying daily in almost like 8 to 10 companies. I was applying on almost all the platforms, be it Naukri, be it Foundit, be it LinkedIn, everywhere. I was applying daily without losing any hope. So that is more important when you are looking for a job. Few other things which I want to share is that how much focus you should do on DSA. Nowadays, what happens is that freshers or anyone, I mean, even experienced people also, whenever they want to switch, everyone just simply tells them that okay, you need to go through DSA questions because most of the companies are asking for those DSA questions only. But the thing is that first of all, you need to be very clear that in which kind of companies you want to apply. If you will say that, okay, I want to apply for Google, then that's a complete different thing. If you want to apply for Google, if you want to apply for Facebook, if you want to apply for Amazon, then obviously you need to be a DSA expert. Because I always say that these farm companies are like the civil services of the private sector. So in the government sector, everyone wants to become an IAS, IPS, and something like this. Same way in the private sector, everyone wants to join these companies only. And that's the reason that everyone is just learning DSA again and again and again and again. And this is the only reason why the other companies are also looking for the DSA candidates. Because they know that in the FANG, the number of jobs is limited, but because of this reason, what happens is that most of the people like us are just learning DSA again and again. So now there are many people with this. So other companies are also trying to get this kind of benefit. Another thing is that the number of people who are looking for the job is more than the number of vacancies. So they just want to filter the candidates. And for that particular purpose, they are just keeping the DSA rounds. And that is something which I generally hate. I mean, trust me, in your company, if you feel that, okay, we want to create a product from scratch where the DSA is going to be required daily, we want to assess a candidate on the basis of that much amount of problem solving level, then you take help of DSA. Otherwise, if you know there exists a person who is having, let's say, some 2 years of experience, 5 years of experience, 7 years of experience, ask them about their experience till now. What kind of projects they have worked so far, what kind of challenges they have faced. Then, if you feel that okay, that candidate is suitable for you, just simply hire them. Why do you want to again and again take those DSA rounds only? And the another thing is that even these companies don't have the budget. So the moment you ask for the budget, then they say that okay, we have this particular budget constraint, hence we can't provide you that much amount of big hikes or something like this, but still we want to be a DSA expert. Another thing is that, let's say that, you need to create a product from scratch. Then also these DSA rounds are not at all helpful. Let me tell you why. Because still maybe someone will tell me in the comments that okay, DSA is important in order to access the problem solving skills. But trust me, that doesn't happen. Why so? Let's assume that you are selected in a particular company. Now you need to create a particular project. Let's assume it is going to be something like Google Maps. Now, in that case, what do you think? Are you going to provide the design for Google Maps in 30 minutes or so? Do you think this particular big application like Google Maps, YouTube, Amazon, Facebook, they were just created in 30 minutes and that's it? After 30 minutes, there was no other kind of discussion. They directly went to the solution and they released the application. Do you think something like this actually happened? The answer is no. In the reality, what happened was that there were multiple people who sat together. There were developers, there were QA, there were architects, there were the product owners, and there were so many people. They thought a lot about all these problems. Then they break down the problem in multiple parts. Then on each and everything, they thought again and again. And many times, what happens is that, let's say you gave me a problem. Currently, my mind is not working for that particular solution. So, what I will do, I won't be able to solve that particular problem. I will go to sleep in the night, maybe next day, I will be taking a bath, and somehow suddenly I will get a solution that okay, I can solve this kind of problem with this kind of solution. And the next day, I will be providing the solution that is going to work. And let's say we are going to implement it. So, when in the reality something like this happens, then why do we want to keep those 30 minutes or 1 hour or even 2 hours of DSA rounds? What is the main purpose of it? At some point of time, we need to understand. Now it is the time of Chat GPT and DeepSeek, where we are saying that these applications are just going to provide you the solutions, they are going to help you. So, what generally I feel is that instead of cramming those DSA things, or many times then people say that okay, if not DSA, we will be making real world projects. Trust me, how these real world projects are going to help you? People say that okay, we will just clone a Facebook or Amazon and we will become a Java expert, or whatever the language they feel. They will say that okay, we will clone this particular real world application and then we will be becoming the expert of that particular thing. Trust me, even that cannot help you. Okay, so in Java also, I will say that there is only one expert, and that is James Gosling only. There is no other expert in Java besides him, and even he is not aware of all the concept on tips. So what I always say is that we need to spend time in order to learn something. Just try to understand. I'm not saying something completely weird or completely out of logic. This is something which we have done so far from our childhood. Just imagine, irrespective whatever is your mother tongue can be Hindi, it can be Tamil, it can be Telugu, it can be Kannada, it can be English, or it can be anything. But does it means that when you went to your school for the first day, you directly wrote a story or you wrote an essay or something like this? It didn't happen. First of all, you learned the alphabets. Then you learned that how to connect two alphabets and create a word. Then you learned how to connect multiple words and how to create a sentence. Then you learned how to connect multiple sentences and how to create a paragraph. Then you learned how to connect multiple paragraphs and how to create a particular story or how to create an essay. So this is the way how you learned something during your childhood days. But then when it is coming to the job and whenever it is coming to a particular programming language, why do we feel that okay, we can become a Java expert in 1 month or just by taking a 3 month course, something like this? Why do we feel that okay, spending times in watching long videos or something like this is just waste of time, and instead it's better that we will just clone a particular application and we can learn the things. Obviously, I also know that okay, the competition is tough, but that doesn't mean there is a shortcut. We always need to learn the things step by step. And that's the reason that on my channel also, you will never find that there is any video related to some DSA concept or something like this, because that is something which I generally don't use. And even I don't say that I'm an expert in that. Okay. Now, I don't say that, okay, don't learn DSA at all. At least if you are a fresher, then in order to prove yourself, because for a fresher, there is nothing like experience. Okay. So you can't say that, okay, I have this kind of experience in my previous project, which I will be using for your company. So you can't do that. So then obviously in order to prove yourself, you need to take help of the DSA. Okay. But beside this, what you can do is you can make some mini projects on your own. And those kind of projects you can explain. And in order to create those projects, you don't need to clone any kind of application. You just need to learn the things from scratch. You need to spend time in order to learn those things. Now, if we come to Java, then I always say that in order to learn the basic Java, you don't need to take help of Google, you don't need to take help of any other YouTube video. Believe me, in order to learn basic Java, what you can just simply do is you go to your library, from there, just pick any Java book which is good, and just start learning it in order to understand the OOP concepts, and that's it. If you still feel that okay, there are some doubts or some other kind of issues which you are facing, then we can think of special sessions on YouTube which are again going to be free of cost. Once you are clear with the basics of Java, then you can start with advanced Java. And for that, already there is a particular playlist on my channel where I'm explaining almost all the topics, including multi-threading, Java 8 features, Java 9 features, concurrency, and all other things. Once you feel you are clear with that, then you can learn about the Maven. You can see that how to add other dependencies and everything. You can learn about the JDBC. Then you can even start with the Hibernate playlist, and then you can move towards Spring Boot. People are also confused that okay, whether they should start with Spring or Spring Boot. The thing is that in that particular case, you just need to watch my playlist Spring Basics with Spring Boot, and it will clear all your doubts. So this is the approach which you need to follow, and that's the best way in order to learn something for a longer duration. So with this, let's end the video, and let me tell you another thing, that very soon we are going to start with our next series, that is going to be Spring Rest. So just keep supporting me, keep learning the things, stay healthy, and keep watching. Thanks everyone. Bye.